But in the meantime, we're getting everything we wanted: total security, total access to everything, have as many bases, have all the equipment that we want. And very importantly, we're building the Golden Dome, we call it. It was called the Iron Dome. Somehow the Golden Dome sounded a little bit better, but we have a technology that's second to none. You saw what we did with Israel, and that's our genius that did that, and it's amazing. It's just, it's foolproof, and we're going to be building it, and it works much better when we have access to Greenland. Just covers more territory, covers it more accurately. Missiles will be more accurate by having it. It's very important strategically as a piece, and we will have everything we want. We're getting everything we want at no cost.
So the Golden Dome will be on Greenland?
A piece of it, yes, and it's a very important part because everything comes over Greenland. If the bad guys start shooting, it comes over Greenland. So we knock it down. It's pretty infallible. It's amazing. Ronald Reagan had the idea a long time ago, but we didn't have any technology at that point. The concept was great, but there was no technology. Now we have unbelievable technology. I mean, virtually 100%.
Thank you both for joining us. I really appreciate it, and Happy New Year to you both. Let's start with the news out of Davos, with President Trump, first of all, ruling out force to take Greenland, and now he says that a framework of a future deal has been reached with NATO over Greenland. Look, he certainly moves quickly. John, is it the art of the deal? What do you make of this?
Well, first of all, Gabriella, there was never any possibility of our invading Greenland, just like there was never any possibility of our annexing Canada. I don't know why Trump likes to talk that way sometimes, but that was not in the cards. On the other hand, it's always been clear that Denmark and Greenland are happy to let us have whatever we need in terms of bases and armaments in Greenland. They don't want Russian missiles passing overhead any more than we do. So this is all going to get worked out. I think at the end of the day, this is not going to be a big problem to solve.
Josh, what are your thoughts? We also heard today from NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte saying that Donald Trump is right, and so are other world leaders, that more needs to be done to protect the Arctic. And I also want to get your thoughts on Donald Trump unleashing on Europe again when it comes to energy and immigration.
Yeah, there's a lot to bash Europe with these days, Gabriella. I mean, this goes all the way back, at least as far as J.D. Vance's speech at the Munich Security Forum in Germany last February, and in the very first weeks of this administration. So this administration is definitely not afraid to yuck it up with Europe and to criticize them pretty harshly when need be. By the way, they're also perfectly happy to make nice with Europe when it's suitable for the American national interest as well. I think back to the summit at the White House in August when they were trying to kind of orchestrate this Zelensky-Putin peace deal. But in any event there, look, I'm not sure that ideal really has been reached. I take Donald Trump seriously, but not literally here in this announcement on his Truth Social post. I think that there's probably been some positive discussions there. My best guess, Donald Trump pays very close attention to the stock market. He's known for watching the stocks very, very closely. I think that he was probably spooked a little bit by the mini crash that happened after the threat of tariffs against Denmark and perhaps the UK, France, various other Western European countries there. So he's probably trying to in the very short term stop the economic bleeding. I don't think he's giving up at all, frankly, when it comes to this American desire to acquire Greenland, a campaign, by the way, that I find myself fully supportive of. There's actually a very long history of American statesmen expressing interest in actually making deals to acquire Greenland. William Seward, Abraham Lincoln's Secretary of State, explored it back in 1867, 2 years after Lincoln's assassination. Harry Truman made a formal offer of $100 million in 1946 at the very beginning of the Cold War, because he saw it as a very strategic island when it comes to deterring Russian and, by extension, Chinese incursion into the Western Hemisphere. So especially given this resurgent Trumpian interest in the Monroe Doctrine, this notion of Western Hemispheric dominance, that I think it plays really nicely into that. So I would definitely not discount the possibility that Donald Trump actually ends up getting Greenland. In fact, I think that there's a real chance, frankly, before this term is up, that you could see potentially, I'm not calling it, but as in potentially, you could see Greenland as the next Guam, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, some sort of territorial acquisition.
John, what do you make of that?
Well, I don't disagree. It's certainly possible. I guess my point is we don't really need that. We're going to get all the security cooperation that we want from Denmark and Greenland. And if in addition to that, we want Greenland to be a territory, frankly, we can buy it. There's only about 55,000 people living in Greenland. And I think it would be within our means to acquire Greenland if that's what we really want to do. But I think the important thing is that we have the ability to do what we need to do there in terms of national and international security.
Let's get some analysis now. I'm joined by Professor Joe Siracusa, inaugural Dean of Global Futures at Curtin Uni. Professor, thanks for your time as always. What do you make of this latest drama there at Davos in relation to Greenland? Will this stabilise, and what does it mean for the future of NATO?
Oh, good afternoon, Kieran. Look, I've been following this president since 2015. In fact, he's my 14th president in my lifetime, and he's a little bit of a mystery. He moves one way one day, and another day he moves another way, and he's got all kinds of people off balance. And today he got himself off balance. He'd gone to Davos to tell everybody what he was going to do, and on that flight over, he must have had a second thought about what was happening on the U.S. stock market. Took a terrible beating yesterday, and he reversed course. So he took first of all, he told them that the military option was off the table. And number two is he cut a deal later in the afternoon for some kind of an arrangement with NATO, probably where he gets the primary responsibility for guaranteeing the defense of Greenland. And so he's got a lot of people confused. But look, this is how he does business. And look, Kieran, I've been going to conferences like Davos, but not Davos, over the last 10 years to Vilnius and other nations, other countries in the Baltics. And these people there, the European politicians, the European Union people, the diplomats, the CEOs, they are actually they are perplexed by Donald Trump. They don't know what he's going to do, but they tend to follow his tweets day by day, and they tend to move very quickly about what he says. And so, they're all a little nervous about this guy, and he doesn't appear reliable. And look, I know people say that NATO has been saved for another day, but, NATO is 1949, born in 1949. It's probably outlived its usefulness. And keep in mind that after the fall of the Soviet Union, NATO had probably lost its reason to live. But it continued to stay on with new buildings, uniforms, pension programs, and the like. So it became an institution. So Donald Trump
why is he so preoccupied by this debate around Greenland? Why is that so top of mind for him and his administration?
Well, Donald Trump tends to latch onto one idea at a time. If you follow his career, he'll stay with something till he can't get much more out of it, whether it's imposing his will on the people of Minneapolis, St. Paul, Los Angeles, Chicago, or whatever he's doing. And he's got hold of this because it looks like a pretty good real estate deal to him. I mean, it's 868,000 square miles, for goodness sakes. It's 3 times the size of Texas. It's got all kinds of wealth under the ice. Of course, that's the trick. You need people to take it out, and it costs billions of dollars to do that. And he's obsessed with, I think, this Golden Dome. That is, he wants a missile defense system. He wants Greenland to be part of it. And keep in mind that It was the same nonsense that was sold during the Reagan administration. Missile defense systems, the kind he's talking about, don't work. They just cost a lot of money. So look, he's fixated on it right now for a number of reasons, politically, economically, and I don't want to get into the conspiracy weeds, but some people say he will do anything to avoid release of more Epstein file documents and the like. I don't believe any of that for a minute, but the president tends to be, I think, also on a timetable here, Kieran. I mean, he's got a couple of years to run. He's got the midterms coming in November, and of course, it's no secret the Republicans are going to lose the midterms, and 6 weeks after the Democrats get in and get their magic number of 218, they are going to impeach Donald Trump for the third time. So, his people are going to worry about being subpoenaed and the like. So he's got a lot on his plate. And I think he's worried about his legacy. He wants to sort of put things in place before he goes. And look, some people may say he's off the rails, but he's just about right for Donald Trump.
Joe Siracusa from Curtin Uni, thanks so much for your insights as always.